Hello everyone, this is Chen. I'm a postdoc researcher at Tsinghua University. Today I'm going to present you a case of Baidu, a diversifying entrant into the autonomous driving industry in China, and how it creates platform ecosystems in this setting. What are the challenges it made and how it addressed them? With this, we hope to give some implications to other platform entrants in the autonomous driving industry worldwide, and some suggestions to platform ecosystem creation cases when they are based on emerging technology in nascent industries. Our findings show that collective expectations are the key factors on driving the platform ecosystem creation dynamics in this process. This is a joint work with Donghong Li from Tsinghua University and Amit Kumar from Warwick Universities. The auto industry has undergone transformations. The trend for developing connected, autonomous shared electric cars is coming faster and faster. This calls for ecosystem and platforms to organize the innovations. The autonomous driving is one of these type technology that could potentially change the industry architecture into industry-wide platform ecosystems. So it will have the autonomous driving software as the platform core and the various type of hardware and their OEMs as complementers. In platform ecosystems, the network effects and the collaboration with complementers are vital for platform creation and competitions. So that the more complementers you get, the higher value your platform will become. The autonomous driving technology has another types of network effects, that is data network effects. Because it's trained on driving data, so that the more complementers the entrant have, especially the collaboration with OEMs, so that you will have more cars on the road, the better the technology would become. We took an entrance perspective in examining the platform ecosystem creation process in nascent industry. If we think beyond the auto industry, we will see that this trend happens in many other cases as well. We are seeing the emergence of many new digital technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchains, etc. They are triggering the emergence of new industries, and they also open up new opportunities for new platform ecosystem creations. So those opportunities has motivating entrants with diversifying capabilities to enter the nascent industry and create platform ecosystems. We are wondering how could those entrants create platform ecosystem in a nascent industry when it is based on emerging technologies. So the literature talk about one of the key issues, that is chicken-egg problem. The chicken-egg problem in nascent industry can be described as how to attract complementers when there are no large user base in the industry, and how to attract users when there are no sufficient complementers and co-innovations. In nascent industry, chicken-egg problems are vital for both industry emergence and platform creations. We are looking at one specific feature of nascent industry when it's based on emerging technology, the collective expectation dynamics. Collective expectations are well established in the sociology of expectations literature and are now gradually being accepted by the entrepreneurship and the innovation literatures. Collective expectations are the expectation of the general others on the potential of the technology and the industries. So for example, when we are saying that one industry is very popular, is very hot, it means that it is on the high expectations. In the early stage of industry emergence, when there are higher uncertainty in the industry and the many facets of the technology are unknown, actors have to rely on visions and expectations other than robust knowledge to make their strategic decisions. Therefore, scholars suggest that collective expectation is an important source of cognitive legitimacy in the nascent industries. However, this legitimacy is not stable. Collective expectations always underwent hype cycle in nascent industries. So it starts with the incubation stage, jump into a hype stage. However, when the development of the technology cannot meet with the previous promised expectations, it will fall into disappointment. So this trend has been captured by the famous Gartner's hype cycle. We can see that many emerging technologies have fallen on this curve. However, the collective expectation dynamics are largely ignored by the ecosystem and platform scholars. Yet, they could lead to significant shift in complementers' cognition and behaviors, therefore impact the platform ecosystem creation process. It becomes more complex when the platform's ecosystem need to gain support from incumbent because of the heterogeneous between incumbent and the platform entrant. Therefore, we highlight the need to integrate collective expectation dynamics in studying platform ecosystem creation process, especially when it needs incumbent support. Therefore, we ask, how does an entrant create a platform ecosystem in nascent industry when it's based on an emerging technology? Especially, how does collective expectation dynamics influence this process as it impacts incumbent complementers' cognition and decisions? We adopted a longitudinal qualitative case study method and choose Baidu as our case study. Baidu is a search engine firm in China and they're strong in AI technologies. In 2013, it started to explore the autonomous driving technologies and decided to enter into the autonomous driving industry in China. Baidu took a platform ecosystem strategy to focus on developing the brand of the autonomous driving and collaborate with many complementers. Its platform ecosystem strategy has been successful so far. It is the largest platform ecosystem in the world. As the day of today, it has more than 200 complementers with 35 OEMs. Here is a illustration of how the complementers and the OEMs collaborators grow. Second is a leading autonomous driving firm in the world. The Navigant Research has ranked Baidu as the fourth autonomous driving company in the world for the year 2019 and 2020. We rely on first-hand data and second-hand data. We conducted 3 phases of interviews with Baidu and various complementary representatives in Baidu's platform ecosystems. Our interviews are conducted in 3 phases that includes both the hype phase and the disappointment phase and the retrospect reflection in the end. In total, we have 67 interviews. The autonomous driving industry in China can be separated into 3 stages according to the collective expectation dynamics. Between 2013 and 2016, the collective expectations are incubating. Industry players tend to think that autonomous driving as a science fiction rather than a reality, that it will take more than 20 years to be commercialized. In 2017, the industry went into hype. 2017 is the year after the GM acquired Cruise for more than $1 billion US. And it is the year when Audi announced that it will commercialize the L3 autonomous driving technology in its A8 centers. Due to the advances in the autonomous driving industry worldwide, the autonomous driving industry in China also went into hype. And now industry players thought that this technology will be commercialized in 3 to 5 years. However, due to the car accident in the US that the Uber killed a person on the road, the industry went into disappointment. Now actors tend to think that this technology is not matured enough. The software is not perfect, the hardware is far too expensive and low speed. They tend to think that the technology can be commercialized only after 10 years during this period. This trend has been recognized by all our informants during interview and verified by the investment data and the newspaper data on self-driving cars in China. We also noticed that Baidu has took different platform ecosystem strategy in these 3 phases. The first phase is platform exploration. The second phase is platform expansion. The last one is platform conservation. We find that Baidu has met different challenges in different stages of collective expectation dynamics that lead to the chicken-egg problem. Therefore, it comes to the first part of our process model. In the incubation stage, the platform entrant tend to seek early mover advantage by attracting complementers early to generate network effects. However, the incumbent complementers, the OEMs in our case, are constrained by their inertias about the new technologies. They tend to choose the wait-and-see approach. Their decision could further impact other complementers due to their dominant position in the conventional industry. This could create dual clock problem for the platform entrant. In our case, while Baidu announced to create platform ecosystem in the end of 2015 by establishing the autonomous driving unit and actively engage with OEMs, the majority of OEMs turned down Baidu on commercialization plans. And while Baidu managed to collaborate with a few OEMs, their collaboration was only limited on providing the vehicle for experimentations. They refused to redesign the chassis, which is important for autonomous driving due to the need of a precise control of the vehicle. And the hardware suppliers follow the OEMs and invest in the ADAS technology other than the autonomous driving technologies. When the industry went into hype, the incumbent OEM now to be interested in the technology and more willing to collaborate. So Baidu sees the chance and think that it's a good opportunity to expand the platform ecosystem so as to win the platform competition. In April 2017, it has announced the Apollo Open Platform project that includes open source, open API, open dataset, and provide funding for startups. So the aim is to attract more complementers, especially the OEMs, to set the industry standard and accumulate data for improving the technology. While the Apollo project soon received positive feedback from the industry, with more than 50 complementers and 10 OEMs joining the ecosystem in the early 3 months, it met several challenges. At this time, the incumbent OEMs become very enthusiastic about the new technology. They tend to think that autonomous driving is the future of the industry and they'd like to control the core competence, which is the software in the autonomous driving. So the competition between the incumbent complementers and the platform entrants increased. In the case of Baidu, in the early stage, there were only second-tier or third-tier OEMs joining the Apollo platform ecosystem, while the top-tier OEMs refused to join and decide to develop the autonomous driving in-house. It's showed by our codes that they consider Baidu as a competitor, that at that time, everyone was ambitious about the autonomous driving technology. Everyone was fighting to be the leader. And second, while the second-tier OEMs joined the Baidu ecosystem, their collaboration remains symbolic without real core innovation plan. While Baidu finally manages the competitive tension through the strategy we introduced in the second part of our process model, they met new challenges as the industry went into disappointment. At this stage, OEMs become pessimistic about the new technology again. They tend to withdraw their resource commitment and focus back on the sustaining technology, which is L1, L2 autonomous driving. So the platform entrant meet with complementers' fiscal commitment that leading the ecosystem to collapse. It's shown by our code. Although Baidu had reached agreement with quite a few OEMs on the co-development of mass production L3 and L4 self-driving cars, including the collaboration with the BIAC Group, BYD, and Volvo, none of them get commercialized in the end. Blah, blah, blah. So the project was suspended. In the next slide, I will show you how Baidu addressed these three chicken-egg problems at each stage. Our case also shows how platform entrant could address those chicken-egg problems. We found that platform entrant actively engage in two kinds of strategy. The first one is ecosystem strategy. That is heavily discussed by the platform and the ecosystem literature. And the second one is institutional entrepreneurship strategy, which describes the strategy towards changing the institutional environment, the collective expectations. Our model also shows how these two strategies evolve along the collective expectation dynamics. For example, in the second stage, we found that the entrant has been actively engaged in platform openness and subsidizing activities to attract complementers. It also surrendered control and clarify roles in the ecosystem so as to solve the competitive tensions. Besides those ecosystem strategy, we found that Baidu also actively engaged in stimulating collective expectations so that many new complementers can join in the industry. For example, it has been hosting high visibility events for every 3 to 6 months during this phase. Last, our model also shows how entrant could react to the disappointment stage. We found that the platform entrant has been actively engaged in two types of ecosystem strategy in the disappointment stage. The first one is a multi-platform strategy. So at this stage, Baidu has created another platforms which are more towards the sustainable innovation for the incumbents. In this way, Baidu can help the incumbent stay on Baidu's platform so that when incumbents become more willing to invest in the technology again in future, they could easily envelope them into the platform ecosystem of autonomous driving so as to sustain the complementer base. The second strategy they took is frame adaptation to secure distant partners. In this stage, Baidu has adjusted the framing of autonomous driving into part of the smart transportation framing and adjust the technology roadmap from a smart car alone one into smart car plus a smart road. In this way, Baidu could tighten the relationship with local governments, who later becomes an economic actor in the ecosystems in providing the V2X infrastructure on the road. With the support from local government, Baidu also tightened the relationship with a few OEMs on autonomous driving development. For example, it has co-innovated with FAO Group on providing a purpose-designed robotaxi on the road. In all, our paper underlines the importance of integrating collective expectation dynamics as an important factor in platform ecosystem creation process in nascent industries. We suggested the three dimensions of chicken-egg problem platform entrant phases in nascent industry and shows how it evolved over the hype cycle. Our work also offers insights on how platform entrants could address those problems. We summarize them as ecosystem skating strategy and contribute to the strategy as process in the ecosystem setting. Last, we highlight the need of institutional entrepreneurship for platform ecosystem creation in nascent industries. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to your feedbacks.